What's going on, people? It's Gunsrar from NextGenTactics, and I'm bringing you a Call of Duty Black Ops weapon demonstration mini-series. Each video will showcase a specific weapon using only iron sights, no attachments, and no kill streaks to ensure that the video demonstrates the use of the weapon only. At the end of each video, I'll provide my personal opinion on the weapon and make recommendations in terms of attachments and in some cases perks and equipment. The M14 is one of only two semi-automatic assault rifles in Black Ops, the other being the FAL. The primary difference between the M14 and the FAL is really to do with the accuracy. In terms of the power, both of them are two-shot kill to the body and one obviously to the head, one to the old noggin. Now, you wouldn't think that's much of a difference, but it really does play a huge difference, that difference in accuracy. The damage is great on both of them. However, the additional accuracy on this is paramount, especially when playing Black Ops, because as I've mentioned before, the ping or lag compensation software that Treyarch uses makes weapons like semi-automatic and even burst fire weapons a little problematic in comparison to fully automatic weapons like the AK, FAMAS, Enfield, Galil, or any of them. When using the M14, I do recommend using a red dot just to increase or give you that additional accuracy benefit, because when you're using this weapon, you definitely want to be making those medium to long range shots, and because of the slight dip in accuracy that the M14 has in comparison to the FAL, you want the additional reassurance that you're right on the target. Again, no match that you're going to play online with the Call of Duty series is going to have perfect lag. Like, you're not going to have, everyone's not going to have 4 bars across there. If that is, I mean, it's once in a while that you'll actually have that. I mean, we've been in lobbies like that before, but they're very, very rare. That being said, when using a semi-automatic weapon in this game, you definitely, particularly with the M14, want to put a red dot on there. In terms of the FAL, it's a little more forgiving because it is a little more accurate. You can get away with the iron sights and put something like a silencer on it, which I've done and I've seen other people use as well. The only issue, well, I shouldn't say the only issue, other than the lag and the ping compensation software, which puts the semi-automatic weapons at a severe disadvantage, another, as far as I'm concerned, critical flaw or issue with using the M14 and FAL is the sort of rapid fire prevention software that Treyarch has introduced. Now, the concept of it is good, and I'm fully on board with it. However, it's sort of impeded and prevented individuals such as myself from using the weapon to its full capacity and using the weapon in a manner in which my skill set has been developed over the years. And that is that it's meant to prevent turbo controllers from taking the advantage. Someone with a turbo controller using the FAL or the M14 and just, basically turning it into a fully automatic weapon, which would be absolutely anarchy because they are very powerful weapons. So if you had an FAL with a turbo controller, it would be sheer dominance out there. And we've seen those issues in World at War with the M1A1 carbine. I would use that thing, and if you've seen any of my older videos, you'll see that I fire it very, very quickly. I've always had a fast trigger finger. I still do, but I stay away, and it's kind of ruined it, and this is a part that's kind of ruined these weapons. I would have loved to have used the FAL or the M14 for that matter in this game, but I get locked out. And what happens is when you fire very, very fast, the software sort of picks up on it. I'm not sure if it just says, oh, you're firing really quickly, or if it's like really sort of steady firing, like very, very evenly spaced firing. I have no idea, but I know that it locks out on me. And what happens is when I'm in a close quarter engagement, say you're running around, you go around a corner and all of a sudden, boom, you're face to face with an enemy. Normally, in a normal circumstance, whether I had my pistol out or if, it was the M1A1 carbine in World at War, I would be able to unleash, the entire clip very, very fast like it was fully automatic. However, in this case here, what happens in more cases than not, it locks me out, and which means I'll fire the first shot off and then it just locks out. It will not fire. I can push the trigger button as fast as I want and nothing is coming out of that muzzle. And what happens is you have to stop firing in order for it to actually sort of release that. And it's not constant. It doesn't happen every single time. It seems to be randomized, which I really don't understand how it works. I don't think Treyarch fully explained it. But in terms of people, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have very fast trigger fingers like myself, and I'm sure that they're having the same issue, and that's when you're using the FAL. I'm not sure if they love semi-automatic weapons to begin with, but if they have a fast trigger finger, there's a good chance that they at least want to use it once in a while to its full capacity, and we can't do that. Like a sniper has the ability to lock onto a target, whether it's quick scoping or not, but really, really quickly. That's part of a skill set. SMGs have lightning fast reflexes, able to run and gun and sort of mow people down around corners because their reaction speeds are really good. Mine are not so good. I know that. I know map recognition. I know where people tend to sort of camp and stuff, which allows me to use weapons like SMGs and get the advantage. But I am by no means like a super ultra fast SMG, run and gunner. However, my skill set, my special ability in these games, in these first-person shooter games, no matter what it is an incredibly fast trigger finger. And that's not being egotistical, it's just a fact. I mean, that's my skill set. I spray like a son of a bitch. And I think it's because of that that I've almost forced myself to use a fast trigger finger so I can use weapons like the FAL, use weapons like the M14, and unleash the clip. I mean, it's a two-shot kill, so all I got to do is get two of them going in there. My accuracy is horrible. You guys have seen me spray like nutso, but I compensate for that with my ability to sort of unleash the entire round on them, or all the rounds on them. I shouldn't say round, that's one bullet. Anyway, so it's rather unfortunate. I wish there was some way to fix it. I have no idea if it's even possible, because I do tend to fire very quickly. But for me, and I know for a lot of other people, that limiter is quite annoying, and it has actually put me off from using these weapons. I do not use the M14 and the FAL. I do try and use them once in a while. But if you're going to use them, I would say that use them in a controlled manner, which is likely the way that they want you to use them, but it puts you at a disadvantage. Just like I said, if you're running around against an SMG and you're around the corner, you want to be able to fire that weapon off fast. It's not fair to you using a weapon like this because you can't always use a steady, controlled shot in order to drop your enemy when you're in a close quarter engagement. So just keep that in mind. They're not bad weapons by any means. Powerful, very effective. I would say the FAL is obviously leaps and bounds beyond the M14. However, you're still going to be, it's a powerful weapon. Just be aware that if you have a fast trigger finger, this is not a weapon that you want to be using on a regular basis because it's going to get quite annoying when it locks you out, as it does with me. Anyway, that's it. The M14. Slap on the red dot and Bob's your uncle. You'll be killing people in no time. Peace. Get the latest updates and stay in touch with the NGT community with our all-new Facebook application. Check the description of the video for details.